Thank you very much, and good morning, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the press. I'm very happy to see some of you here that I recognize from a previous life. You're warmly welcome. It's an honor to welcome you and introduce this pivotal moment for EFINA, which is the unveiling of our refreshed brand identity and renewed vision for advancing financial inclusion and economic empowerment across Nigeria. Later this evening, we would gather to celebrate not just the new chapter, but also the collective progress and future potential of the financial inclusion ecosystem in Nigeria. First, I would like to acknowledge and deeply appreciate the EFINA family, our members, directors, management, and staff, past and present, who have worked tirelessly to position this organization as the leading facilitator for financial innovation and inclusion over the years. Not to mention our partners and stakeholders from the public, private, and development sectors, whose continued support and partnerships have been instrumental in shaping the progress we have achieved together. As we relaunch EFINA today, we are not merely unveiling a new look. It's much more than that. We're embarking on a bold new chapter. This moment reflects our resolve to deepen collaborations, champion innovation, and accelerate the pace of financial inclusion for underserved populations. Our research strategy builds on our legacy of sharpening our focus on digital financial services and addressing the unique challenges faced by rural communities, women, and other vulnerable groups. We believe that financial inclusion is not just a means, an end in itself, but it's a powerful tool for unlocking opportunities, enhancing resilience, and driving sustainable development. Through this relaunch, we are reaffirming our commitment to transforming lives and fostering economic empowerment across Nigeria. I would like to acknowledge and sincerely appreciate the members of the media present here today. Your role in amplifying critical conversations, and I know that you feel as much as we do for the underserved populations of this country. Shedding light of the realities of the underserved populations and holding institutions accountable cannot be overstated. You are essential partners in this journey. We are counting on your engagement to take this discourse to greater heights. This first briefing is a platform for collaboration. We need you. We are here to share EFINA's renewed vision, our strategic priorities, and the bold steps that we are taking to deepen financial inclusion through innovation, partnerships, and impact-driven initiatives. More importantly, we are here to hear from you, your questions, your perspectives, and your insights. I encourage you to engage fully, ask critical questions, and explore how EFINA's work aligns with the broader challenges and opportunities in Nigeria's financial ecosystem. Your voice is vital in helping us highlight the importance of access to financial services as a cornerstone for economic empowerment and sustainable growth. As EFINA embarks on this new journey, we look forward to strengthening our partnership with the media to ensure that financial inclusion remains a priority on our national agenda, sparking meaningful change for individuals, families, and communities across Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for honoring our invitation and for your invaluable contribution.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and press. It's an honor to be with you today as we mark this exciting chapter in EFINA's journey. This relaunch is not just about refreshing our brand. It is about reaffirming our commitment to financial inclusion and expanding our impact in economic empowerment for the excluded and most vulnerable in Nigeria. Since inception in 2007, EFINA has been at the forefront of driving financial inclusion, working with policymakers, financial services providers, and development partners to bridge the gap between the financially excluded and the follow financial system. In 2007, Nigeria's financial inclusion landscape looked vastly different. At the time, 53% of Nigerians were completely excluded from the financial system, and only 24% had access to formal financial services. Many relied on informal financial mechanisms, making them vulnerable to economic shocks and limiting their growth opportunities. Recognizing this gap, EFINA was founded with a clear mission to make financial services accessible to all Nigerians, especially women, low-income groups, and those in rural communities. Our approach was built on research, advocacy, and market development to create an enabling environment for financial inclusion. In 2008, EFINA introduced the first Access to Financial Services Study, known as the A2M, to provide critical data to understand financial access trends in Nigeria. To date, we have undertaken 8 of these surveys, which has since become the most comprehensive data sets tracking financial inclusion progress in the country, with the latest reports released in 2023. The following year, in 2009, we launched the Innovation Fund to promote the development and widespread deployment of innovative solutions to expand financial inclusion in Nigeria. Over the years, through our Innovation Grant Facility, we've supported the expansion of the agent banking network, allowing financial services to reach last-mile customers in remote and underserved areas. For instance, with EFINA's grant report for on-lending, FCMB provided loans to more than 110,000 customers, of which more than 99,000 of them were women. They also onboarded more than 780 active agents, of which over 300 of these were female. In 2012, recognizing the need for a national roadmap, EFINA played a key role in supporting the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) in developing Nigeria's first national financial inclusion strategy. This strategy sets clear targets to reduce exclusion and expand financial services. With 2018 came the digital financial services revolution. EFINA championed digital financial services, working closely with fintechs, mobile money operators, and regulators to create a more inclusive and innovative financial ecosystem. 2020, like we all know, and 2021 were the years that tested resilience. During the COVID-19 pandemic, EFINA played a key role in assessing the economic impact of financially vulnerable Nigerians, working with partners to ensure that the digital financial services provided a lifeline for men.
And so, it was with great joy in 2023, EFINA reported considerable progress in financial inclusion. Financial exclusion amongst adults improved significantly, dropping from 53% in 2008 to 26% in 2023, while formal financial access grew from 23% in 2008 to 64% in 2023. Informal financial reliance also declined, reflecting a more inclusive financial system. efforts have focused on enrolling rural communities in NIM system using EFINA's A2L data to identify underserved populations. By linking NIM registration to cash transfer initiatives, Kaduna enhanced program transparency and efficiency while empowering residents to access financial services and social safety nets. By using this data-driven approach, the state government has been better equipped to design financial inclusion initiatives that address the unique needs of Kaduna State residents. And so we then saw in 2023 that the 8/12/2023 Kaduna Deep Dive Survey reported considerable progress in financial inclusion in Kaduna State. Financial exclusion amongst adults improved significantly, dropping from 54% in 2020 to 34% in 2023. That's a 20 percentage points drop in just 3 years. We also saw that formal financial access grew from 35% in 2020 to 61% of adults in 2023, with significant decline also in informal reliance in Kaduna State. To further guide financial inclusion strategies at the state level, EFINA also launched the 8/12/2023 State Fact Sheet in 2024. This fact sheet provides granular data to help state governments and financial service providers to tailor their interventions at subnational level. In more precise terms, over our 15-year journey, we have, among other things, achieved or contributed to the following. Over 4 million Nigerians have been financially included. Their projects have been funded by EFINA's Innovation Fund, and of these 4 million adults, roughly 2 million of them are women. We've also implemented 7 fintech challenge months with a total value of $2 million. We have also deployed about 35,000 financial service agents who today serve rural communities, serving the underserved population all across Nigeria, and of those 5,000, 8,525 of them are women. We hosted over 114 innovation forums, workshops, breakfast sessions, briefing series to address policy issues which resulted in new initiatives. Over the last year, our board and management have been hard at work to build a strategy and develop a framework that would help us achieve a target of 80% formal financial inclusion in Nigeria. Because it's the most marginalized, hardest to reach citizens that remain excluded, we must be even more innovative and even more committed if we are to serve them and to hit the targets. For every 1% that will fall short in financial inclusion, it means more than 1 million Nigerians do not benefit from financial services that could improve their lives. However, financial inclusion goes beyond just providing access. It is not just about the numbers. It is about improving lives such that a small business owner can access affordable credit. A farmer can receive digital payments, and families can build financial resilience. From my experience in the education sector, I know that building schools is just the first step. Without qualified teachers, a well-structured curriculum, and the necessary tools, meaningful learning will not take place. Similarly, having access to a bank account or mobile wallet does not advance or guarantee financial success, and doesn't guarantee that they will use it. For them to progress to more advanced financial services that foster resilience, they must engage in savings, credits, insurance, and even pensions. Access alone provides a foundation. Or if people who have accounts and wallets do not transition to using the services that will benefit them the most, they remain economically stagnant and fail to achieve true empowerment. As such, we do not believe that achieving financial access alone does justice to the scale of challenge that we face.
We must ensure that financial inclusion translates into economic empowerment, which will in turn drive social and economic development across the country. It is this thinking that has informed our new day, our new brand, and our new strategy. This relaunch represents a new era for EFINA, one that is even more focused on delivering lasting financial empowerment. Moving forward, EFINA's priority is shifting from access to meaningful usage of financial services. This is to ensure that financial services truly benefit those who need them the most. We will focus on promoting digital financial inclusion, leveraging technology that would improve livelihoods and resilience amongst underserved communities, all with real sector impact. We will also prioritize the strengthening of trust among consumers, and will continue working closely with the government and other key stakeholders to remove barriers to financial inclusion. Indeed, our new 5-year strategy sets out clear and specific goals that are aligned with the National Financial Inclusion Strategy, and it is designed to deliver clear progress over the next 5 years towards greater financial access, resilience, and empowerment. So in conclusion, it is important that I acknowledge our donors, partners, and stakeholders, as one of the milestones that we've talked about would have been achieved without them. Their support and commitment, as well as the innovative spirit of financial services providers who continue to push the boundaries of financial inclusion, are playing a great role in the progress that we experienced. Your continued partnership remains a critical success factor for us in this continuing journey. The journey of driving meaningful and sustainable change for the people that we care about. Your immense support has been invaluable, and we look forward to walking this greater path with you. So thank you once again, and welcome to a new EFINA, Beyond Financial People.
Have several courses that will be served across the flight. And the very first meal we'll be having tonight, super delicious, will be served by no other person but the distinguished woman at the helm of affairs, the EFINA board chair. Let's hear it louder for Dr. Agnes Tokumbo Martins.
Your Royal Highness, our members here present, our donors, EFINA board, esteemed ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, good evening, and you're all welcome. Let me first of all deeply sorry and really thank His Royal Highness, because we created a lot of confusion and he went through a lot of trouble and hassle to get here today. On behalf of EFINA will say thank you so much, Your Highness. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my singular honor to welcome you to this very auspicious occasion of EFINA's branch launch, which is a pivotal juncture in our journey as a company of passionate and committed people, friends, stakeholders, and partners alike toward the vision of a fully inclusive and economically empowering Nigeria. I especially acknowledge and state our delight to have the honor of your esteemed presence with us. Commitment and support have been instrumental in advancing financial inclusion in Nigeria, and we deeply value your leadership, partnership, and commitment, beliefs, and goals. I also take a moment to recognize the EFINA family, our distinguished members, the board of directors, the representatives of the vice president, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and so many dignitaries here today. We thank you for your support, your vision, passion, supporting us in our relentless pursuit to innovating, creating innovations to transform the financial inclusion landscape and improve the lives of millions of Nigerians. Ladies and gentlemen, almost 2 decades, this court's partnerships, leadership changes, mountaintop and valley experiences. You'll recall that there's a time we thought we were dying, we were going out of business, but thanks to our donors, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they're here today. Here we are today, alive, thriving, and a greater vision, height, insight. Yes, so it's been a challenging period. We've had a lot of stakeholder engagement, partnerships, leadership changes, there's a lot of tremendous, vigorous, and impactful work. And I cannot but feel highly privileged to be the chair of EFINA at this time. Today is more than another event. We believe that this not only represents a defining moment for EFINA, but also a strategic juncture for the entire financial inclusion ecosystem in Nigeria. We are here to celebrate EFINA's relaunch. This relaunch is more than just a new look. It's a renewed commitment to EFINA's mission of expanding financial access and driving real economic empowerment. More importantly, tonight is about celebration and collaboration. We have gathered esteemed leaders, innovators, and partners who have been instrumental in shaping financial inclusion in Nigeria. This event is an opportunity to reflect on our collective achievements and ensure that we are working collaboratively to a common goal, a future where every Nigerian has access to and can fully benefit from financial services. Over the course of the evening, we will hear from highly esteemed policymakers who have championed financial inclusion at various levels. We will hear from our funding partners who have been critical to supporting our work, and visionary leaders and industry experts who will share insights on what lies ahead. We will also hear from members of the EFINA leadership team as they share our renewed vision and strategic direction, outlining how EFINA will continue to catalyze financial inclusion and advancement in Nigeria. Nigeria's financial inclusion journey has been a shared effort between us and you. We couldn't have done it without all of you here today. Over the years, many of you in this room have been an integral part of this mission, driving policies, innovations, and solutions that have brought financial services closer to the people who need them the most. EFINA has been privileged to work alongside regulators who have championed policies that foster inclusion, and financial service providers who continue to innovate to make financial products more accessible, donor partners like the Gates Foundation, whose support continues to help us drive meaningful change, and state governments that have taken the leap to prioritize digital identity and access. Tonight, as we reflect on our progress, we also recognize that this work is far from over. The conversations we have today will help us define the next phase of our collective journey in financial inclusion. The work ahead cannot be done alone. It requires continued collaboration with policymakers, financial institutions, fintech innovators, and development partners. We encourage you to fully engage by participating in discussions, sharing your perspectives, or building new partnerships. This is a gathering of change makers, and your contributions will be vital in driving the next phase of financial empowerment. Thank you once again for being a part of this event as we mark a new era for EFINA, one where financial inclusion is not just a goal, but a stepping stone for financial empowerment. Your support and collaboration are what made this journey possible and what continues to make it possible. And we look forward to shaping the future of financial inclusion together. We hope you enjoy this evening. Thank you.
I'd like you to cast your gaze on the screens, ladies and gentlemen, because a video will be reeling out just about now from FSD Africa. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be with my FSD network colleagues to share this momentous occasion of EFINA's brand relaunch. And they have a couple of things to say.
Good. On this special day, as FSD Network, we gather here to congratulate and send best wishes to EFINA, a member of the network, on the rebranding, but also focusing on the most important theme, which is really ensuring that financial inclusion doesn't stop there, but also affect economic inclusion and better livelihood for most Nigerians.
Congratulations to EFINA. It is really a good moment of stepping up the financial inclusion to the level of economic empowerment, which is very important. There is no financial inclusion without changing the life of people, without increasing the quality. And really, we do believe that via economic empowerment, the quality of the Nigerian population will be improved. Thanks and congratulations, EFINA, for this move.
Congratulations, EFINA. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed, we're going to be having goodwill messages. And the very first speaker tonight will be no other person but the chairman, pioneer board chair of EFINA. I'm talking about Mr. Adedotun Suleiman, MFR. Can we have a round of applause?
I'm actually the pioneer chairman of EFINA. Started EFINA, I think 2007. I just retired from being managing partner of Accenture. And the bulk of my career in Accenture, I think the last few years of it, was mostly working with banks, trying to make banks basically bring them up and modernize them as well. I think His Royal Highness will attest to some of the things we did in the course of that. And what we tried to do was basically get banks to modernize and become more inclusive. For you to appreciate the progress that we have made, you have to understand where we're coming from. Back in 2007, 2005, and even if you take it maybe 5 years below, banking was a completely different game from what you know today. Completely different. I always tell when I tell you the story of InterSwitch, that the highest denomination currency was 200 naira. And if you wanted to take a group of people to dinner, you carry the bag. It was that bad. There were less than 50 ATM machines in Nigeria. And of course, the question of consumer credit was non-existent. I always use myself as a prime example of how bad things were, just to put it in perspective. Like I said, just career spent 30 years. And so, can you believe that throughout my career, no bank lent me money? No bank lent me. It wasn't available. That product, consumer finance, wasn't available. And all the cars I ever owned were probably cash. Cash. No bank loan. Not only that, even real estate. I graduated in 1975. I did my first house in 1999. How many years later? 24 years later. I didn't borrow any money. It wasn't available. So you can imagine if it wasn't available to me at that time, what sports it was like at the bottom of the pyramid. So we've come a long way. So when the concept of EFINA came, for me, it was a continuation of what we tried to do. And the consulting this is working with one bank at a time, or deciding on a systemic basis. So here was EFINA. It was then funded, it is initially funded by TFID and the Ford Foundation. I reported the two founders. Hope through this idea of let's innovate, let's encourage the banks to innovate. Just putting the things of the regional banks wasn't working. We're making money too easily because the low-hanging fruit to worry about the hard work of consumer finance and so on. So we've come a long way. Finance has come a long way. I remember when we did this, I think we call it free scope study. Was it free scope? Oh, yeah. No, the very first study, double like a date 9 as well. I think that study was very revealing. I think it revealed that less than, I think 60%, if I remember right, of all adults in Nigeria between ages of 18 and 65 had bank accounts. So that we stratified by demographics and by gender, we found how horribly bad things were. And over the years, of course, I've followed some of the things you've done. We've tried to integrate insurance, banking, payments, so on. And I would say we've done a good job, but another it's still a long way to go. I guess you've got your work cut out for you. And thank you very much. Congratulations for 18 people for years.
And then we're going to have the Managing Director and CEO, Nigeria Interbank Settlement Systems, NIBSS.
Really something, man. Really, this you would forgive me. I am not so coherent. The last time I spoke a thought of His Royal Highness, who was the governor of CPA. So right now speaking as the Cassie, our life I'm speaking in first, the real father. So I'll try to win this. Honestly, for orientation too, EFINA, well, what it has achieved. The journey at what Dr. Suleiman has said that really very well. I started my banking career in 1992 and also Kennedy Bank was a high-tech savvy position. And in 2016-2017, I was appointed the director of business of the North. And my office was based in Abuja. And that was when I get the first shock going up. That all the patrol we were doing in Lagos was specifically designed of this Johnson Fear and Nico. All the creativity slow by out and everything. That set me back. I went to various parts of the North and I saw the same nightmare. Things were happening in Lagos, but they were not in a battle in Nigeria. So I thought maybe I was not. I grew up in Lagos, also proceeded to head to my state, in a good state, and I brought to my village. I literally saw poverty and crisis walking freely on the streets and not challenged. And I knew that we were in crisis soon. I remember telling my police that one back that we need to apologize to all Nigerians that would not be doing back there because they're backing of exclusivity. So when the figure came on board, I think with the role they have played, bringing together various stakeholders, the kind of research, advancing packets of winner, helping with the agency at Kinfeo, which has been driven by science to a very huge success to the touch. And the steady way to Arabic touch, scientific, providing actual services. App News would created number on the fathers 32 years ago. But why did we say that community and lower the cost of the play business through shared structures? We continue to drive that on the basis opposite to that cost. With 50 payment product to be short, but we're in fact cheaper. Well, last week Monday, I was in Nakujana with not enrolled in a team of people. And the vice president, I think about 3 a.m. this morning, I don't know why you don't sleep. I was responding to you in my dream. Who was chatting with 3 a.m. this morning. I was responding. Normally, I know how to respond to their dream. I say so. And you get the very good news of your positive development place. We can succeed in the situation. Let us to sit and say, it's not here today, because I'm in this. It's here to put a chip device in the house of friends. Need data. Financial data at zero cost. Then we can achieve a job in terms of communication. You also with economic inclusion. And I think that just on the right path. We're on the right path, or we live and do the right path, and did the rest of Africa and not the task. All this is a combination to the telling EFINA, and from Lips will continue to support you at any time of your day.
Such a beautiful thing for the headman at Lips to leave it in the board that we have to take financial inclusion to the peak in Nigeria. At this point, I'd like us to please give a resounding round of applause to our House Governor, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Olushola Sabon. Can we have a round of applause for him? Assistant the ably Demzadeba, Dr. Yabo Oyeyemi Ayola, the Special Advisor on Central Internal Audit, CIT, Nigeria branch.
I'm delighted to be here today to celebrate the launch of the refreshed brand identity of enhancing financial innovation and access, EFINA, an institution that has made remarkable contributions to deepening financial inclusion in Nigeria, particularly in our great state of Lagos. Established in 2007 with support from a UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, EFINA has been at the forefront of promoting financial inclusion by providing funding and catalyzing innovation, delivering cutting-edge research, advocating for inclusive policies, building capacity, and offering grants to support the innovative use of digital technology. Through these efforts, EFINA has broken down barriers, created opportunities, and empowered millions of Nigerians, including those in Lagos, to access and benefit from financial services, fostering a more inclusive and prosperous future for all. As a government that is committed to economic prosperity and social inclusion, we have worked closely with financial institutions, fintechs, innovators, and organizations like EFINA to create an enabling environment for financial growth through policies that support digital banking, microfinance, and cooperative societies. We have championed access to financial services for all Lagosians, Our administration's strategic focus on technology-driven governance, entrepreneurship, and ease of doing business has complemented EFINA's mission. The Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, NSETF, for example, has empowered thousands of small businesses with access to finances, many of whom have benefited through the research, advocacy, and capacity building programs initiated by EFINA. Furthermore, the core initiative, which enhances digital literacy and financial education, aligns with EFINA's efforts to promote financial awareness, ensuring that people, especially women, youths, and small-scale entrepreneurs, are financially included and equipped to participate in digital economy. The impact of EFINA's work on Lagos shares cannot be overstated. Through innovative financial solutions and research-driven advocacy, EFINA has expanded financial inclusion, ensuring that millions of Lagosians have access to banking, savings, and credit facilities. EFINA has empowered MSMEs by providing data-driven insights that help policymakers and private sector shareholders create solutions for small businesses, enhance digital financial literacy, enabling more people to use mobile banking, digital wallets, and fintech platforms safely and effectively. EFINA has supported women and marginalized groups, ensuring financial services are accessible to those who need them most. As a result, more Lagosians are financially independent, businesses are thriving, and the state continues to attract local and international investors due to the improved financial landscape. And as well, we have unveiled the refreshed EFINA brand identity today. I commend the leadership of this great organization for its commitment to innovation and excellence. This rebranding signifies a renewed vision, one that I'm confident will further strengthen Nigeria's financial sector and continue to uplift the people of Lagos. On our own part in Lagos, as a government, we will remain steadfast in supporting initiatives that foster financial inclusion, drive economic growth, and ensure prosperity for all. We look forward to deepening our collaboration with EFINA and other stakeholders to build a financially inclusive future for Lagos. Once again, I congratulate EFINA and I wish continued success in your journey of transforming lives through financial access. Thank you for listening and God bless you. Mr. Babajide Big LSM, the Google Percentage Streets.
His Excellency got it right on point to send in a top CIA agent to represent here. That was articulate and beautifully delivered. Thank you, ma'am. Distinguished guests, as we proceed to represent the Vice President of our nation, Nigeria, I'd like to invite Dr. Nuruddin Zara, Technical Advisor to the President on Financial and Economic Inclusion. Let's hear it for him, please.
Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. You already had a sound. I think of Kano Sanusi Lanido Sanusi. Your hands, thank you so much. And good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the development partners, the CEOs of different ministry partner agencies, the EFINA boards, and the House representative of our Lagos State Governor, Representative of Central Bank Governor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, you're welcome to this very important event. Okay, so we feel honored actually to be here in this event, and of course, tender an unresounding apologies by my principal due to some other engagements that he is not here, and of course, I'm here to represent him. That shows the interest of this country, particularly this administration,
in supporting economic and financial inclusion. So in that regard, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the speech by His Excellency the Vice President, I would like to read some certain synopsis of that speech. It is with immense pleasure that I stand before you here today on behalf of His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Although he is unable to join us in person, due to some pressing national assignments, His Excellency extends his heartfelt congratulations, unwavering support to the board, management staff, and funding partners of EFINA on this momentous occasion. Tonight, we gathered here to celebrate a significant milestone, the relaunching of EFINA brand. This rebranding effort is the design, of an identity that gives you reaffirmation of EFINA's shared commitment to advancing economic empowerment, prosperity, and sustainable development for all Nigerians. EFINA has been, at the forefront of driving financial inclusion in Nigeria for somewhere around close to 2 decades. Through your dedication, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, EFINA, you have consistently provided a crucial resources needed to measure the progress of financial inclusion in the country, which is of course data, right? Your work made it easier, to track Nigeria's development in financial inclusion, which has been vital in shaping policies and interventions across sectors. Thanks to your tireless effort, we are now in a positive, to see very clear where the progress has been made and where there are still some challenges, and of course what needs to be done in order to address those challenges. So thanks to EFINA for this effort and support. As a government, economic and financial inclusion has always been, at the forefront of this administration's focus, as reflected in the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. For the first time, the government has elevated the conversation around economic and financial inclusion to the National Economic Council, chaired by the Vice President. The National Economic Council, of course, comprises key ministries and then subnational leaders, is focused to ensure no Nigerian is left behind, especially in the realm of economic empowerment and of course financial inclusion. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge that this journey cannot be achieved by the government alone. The participation of the private sector in this very important journey, is driving sustainable progress. And this is where EFINA's work becomes even more crucial, especially at this critical time in our national journey. By highlighting the role of the private sector and, of course, measuring their active participation, EFINA is helping to create an environment where partnership between government and private sector entities can truly thrive. Your advocacy for private sector support remains integral, to achieving our shared vision and, of course, objectives. The commitment of this administration in this regard is reflected, in the actual Accord on Economic and Financial Inclusion issued by this administration in April 2024. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today, while we celebrate this remarkable work of EFINA, EFINA has done, and of course they are still doing, we also recognize that you are choosing to evolve, and of course aligning your brand to better serve Nigerians' financial inclusion goals. This strategic decision aligns perfectly with the current reforms, of economic and financial inclusion under this administration. EFINA has always, has been an amazing partner, in this journey. They have been very supportive. One of such example I can give is the recent gender inclusion event that was hosted by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where EFINA played very important role. They served as the technical partners and they supported in shaping that, which eventually got an overwhelming support across the globe.
I could remember the one of the most important aspect that you could see within 2 days of the event. I think we got a viewership up of about 200,000 what do you call it people across the world. I think that was a very momentous, and of course, it's because of the technical support by the EFINA in this regard, and also their openness also to collaborate with us to ensure that all the technical activities and of course data-driven decisions are taken to ensure that this administration is well guided in support of economic and financial inclusion, which is already an inbuilt aspect of the renewable agenda of Mr. President. This is a pivotal time, for all of us. And as we move forward, we remain committed to whole of the government approach to economic and financial inclusion. The ASO Accord that was signed in April 2024 by this administration, one of the key pillars of this administration is one of the key pillars of this administration strategy. It stands as a testament to our commitment to bring economic gaps to bring economic gaps across Nigeria to a closure. Through these initiatives, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are not only focusing on policy reforms, but also fostering partnership with private sector and to ensure, private sector and development partners to ensure that every economically active Nigerian can have access to resources and opportunities needed for him and her to thrive. I will therefore, on behalf of the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, I would like to extend congratulations to the EFINA, the board, as well as the entire team for the success recorded thus far. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform you also that the one of the key success of this journey by this administration within the last 1.5 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of initiatives and support that we've gotten. I think I have to unveil this secret, to you, that the secret to this success, the personality that made it happen, is actually seated right here in this road. What exactly am I talking about? I could remember when we came on board, that was 2023. A lot of memos, a lot of written in and out have been going in and out to ensure that support of economic and financial inclusion is being given the needed attention by this administration. But at the same time, we have to also design another strategy at that time. And what was the strategy? We have to invite the personality who was actually the premier, initiator of the financial inclusion journey in Nigeria. He's accepted and he came personally to meet with the leadership of this country to explain how important economic and financial inclusion journey is going to be, particularly amidst this time that we're facing insecurity challenges, where there was a meeting with the leadership of the country. And from that point onward, up to this moment, it has been a success. It has been a support, and that galvanized the support of this administration to support economic and financial inclusion. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the personality in question is His Royal Highness Salusi Lam Salusu, who made it happen. Your Highness, sir. We sincerely appreciate you for that, and we promise that we will continue to do our possible best to ensure that the financial inclusion remains a very important pillar, as it has already been itemized. Access, capital, and of course, inclusivity has been one of the top notch, in the renewal agenda of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to reaffirm on behalf of my principal, they reaffirm the federal government's commitment to supporting economic empowerment and financial inclusion for all Nigerians. Together, we will continue to drive this progress, break down barriers, and of course, ensure that all Nigerians have access to equal opportunities and, of course, financial inclusion for Nigeria. Congratulations once again to EFINA, the board, the staff, as well as the entire participant in this historical moment, and assure you also that our doors are open and we will continue to support this cause for Nigeria. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Once again.
Distinguished guests, at this point, I'll be taking the very next speaker, and
That is the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He's going to be represented by Mr. Mosam Itokajima, Director, Payment Systems Management Department of the CBN. Can I never remember the question? Readmis.
Premier, you will be in the world that we truly see. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be presenting the keynote speech, which would have been delivered by the Deputy Governor of Financial System Stability, Mr. Philip Ikeaso. And the keynote speech is on the journey so far for EFINA. I like the way you wrapped your speech up by giving so much detail about how it all started. The journey actually started in 2011 when we took the Maya Declaration in Rivera, Mexico. And in 2012, we took a national financial inclusion strategy that was launched. As Israel Harness was the governor of Central Bank. Thank you, sir. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to stand before you today at this pivotal moment in the Nigerian financial education journey. Tonight, as we celebrate the launch of EFINA, I'm reminded of the pivotal role this organization has played in driving financial inclusion in Nigeria, and also reflect on the progress we have made as a collective in expanding access to financial services while we chart the course for the future. Financial inclusion is more than just a policy, it's actually a cornerstone of Nigeria's economic development. The government's ambition to build a $1 trillion economy is increasingly tied to our ability to bring every Nigerian into the formal financial services. A truly inclusive financial services enable business to thrive, households to build resilience, and communities to prosper. It strengthens our ability to deliver social welfare, enhance economic participation, and reduce poverty. Nigeria formally recognized financial inclusion as a national priority in 2012 when we launched the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. At that time, only about 34% of Nigerians had formal access to financial services. And about 53% were completely excluded, while another 24% relied on informal mechanisms. At the time, there was no data to measure financial inclusion and how it ties into national economic development. The challenge was immense, but so was our determination to address those challenges. Since the establishment of EFINA, it has been a catalyst for change, working tirelessly to promote financial inclusion through research, advocacy, and stakeholder engagement. EFINA's efforts have helped to address the paucity of data and lack of ecosystem coordination that made it difficult to chart a common front. These efforts have helped to bridge the financial exclusion gap, providing access to financial services for millions of Nigerians, thanks to the collaborative partnership we are all committed to. Fast forward to 2023, and we can see how far we have come. The latest EFINA Access to Financial Services survey showed that formal inclusion has increased to 64%, a remarkable achievement. Informal access has also reduced significantly, and total exclusion has dropped to below 26%. This transformation has been driven by deliberate policies, strategic partnership, and unwavering commitment from key stakeholders. Nigeria has seen tremendous progress with initiatives such as agent banking, digital financial services, and the incursion of the fintech innovation, which now accounts for 40% of total financial service adoption. Yet, while we celebrate this progress, we must acknowledge that the journey is far from over. Despite these advances, 90% more women than men remain financially excluded, and over 300 local government areas still lack
a single bank branches leaving mobile agent as the primary access point. Nigerian National Financial Inclusion Strategy has set ambitious targets for the future, and the road ahead requires renewed focus, collaboration, innovation to ensure that we reach every Nigerian who remains excluded. So let's look at EFINA as a market facilitator. EFINA has been at the heart of the Nigerian financial inclusion journey since 2011. Its access to finance E24 survey has provided critical data shaping policy decisions and market intervention. EFINA's investment in inclusive financial products have directly enabled over 4 million Nigerians to access formal financial services. Beyond data and funding, EFINA has convened stakeholders, facilitated market development, and championed the conversations that have helped shape financial inclusion policies. And so tonight, as we witness EFINA's relaunch, we see a renewed commitment, not just to access, but to advancement. EFINA's expanded brand architecture reflects this evolution. The platform remains fundamental. The Gender Center of Excellence underscores the urgent need for gender-responsive financial inclusion, and inclusion for all ensures that marginalized and vulnerable groups have a voice in shaping policies and practice. The future of financial inclusion and beyond access to empowered. While expanding access remains essential, access alone is not enough. The next phase of financial inclusion will focus on ensuring that those who are included actively use financial services to improve their lives. This is how we transition from financial access to the economic empowerment. The Central Bank of Nigeria recognizes this shift and is working out measures of incorporating it into an updated national financial inclusion strategy. At the heart of this new vision are 5 key priorities. 1. Expanding retail credit. This is to enable micro and small businesses to grow and individuals to invest in productive assets. 2. Building a savings culture by encouraging Nigerians to save and increase the pool of capital available for productive investment. 3. Enhancing payment system by driving efficiency in digital transactions while ensuring consumer protection and trust. 4. Deepening insurance penetration by providing risk protection mechanisms that enhance financial resilience. And 5. Increasing household coverage, ensuring long-term financial security for all Nigerians. These 5 priorities rest on the strong foundation we have built over the past 20 years. The success of the next phase will depend on collaboration between government, regulators, financial service providers, development partners, and civil societies. It has become apparent that our collective efforts must continue to prioritize financial and economic inclusion. The ecosystem has a critical role to play in this journey, and as a regulator, the Central Bank of Nigeria is committed to creating an enabling environment for this to rise. The private sector must innovate and invest. An international development organization and development financial institutions must provide support and the expertise needed to make this happen. I encourage EFINA to engage at the highest level more than ever before. The President is committed to an economic inclusion, which has demonstrated by inaugurating the Presidential Committee on Economic and Financial Inclusion recently. So now, a call to action to EFINA. So EFINA are developing partners and NGOs and ecosystem stakeholders. The journey ahead is modern, requires investment, innovation, and intentional actions. We must prioritize solutions that address the unique financial challenges of marginalized groups, leverage technology to bridge access gaps, and scale financial literacy programs that drive usage and trust. Nigeria's financial inclusion story is one of resilience, but the final chapter is yet to be written. Your continued support will be instrumental in unlocking the economic potentials of millions of Nigerians. As we conclude, we look to the future. Let us reaffirm our commitments to ensuring that every Nigerian, not just the urban elites, but farmers, traders, women, youth, all have access to financial services that they can use to improve their livelihoods. I would like to thank EFINA for the opportunity to address you today and commend the organization for its tireless efforts. Today, we will continue to build a Nigeria where financial services are attainable, accessible, and actively used to unlock the economic opportunities for all. So remember that an economy that works for all benefits all. Thank you very much.
Royal Highness, distinguished guests, let's hear it for Mr. Jason Lam, our next speaker. A round of applause.
Thank you. That was a bit much. As an introduction, Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to throw out my speech because everything that I wanted to say has been said. And I just wanted to reflect a little bit on EFINA, my experience with EFINA, why the Gates Foundation continues to support EFINA, and what's next. So I joined the Gates Foundation in 2009, and EFINA has been part of my world since I joined. And I've been personally much more involved for over the last decade. And so it's quite wonderful to see so many familiar faces, friends, and colleagues in the room tonight. The Gates Foundation supports many EFINA-like organizations in our focus countries. So the FSD network, which EFINA started as a part of, we support them in Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and also in Pakistan. And we see the role of EFINA as super important within the market. It's in between government, private sector, regulator, and consumer. And it has as its highest purpose to ensure that all people have access to finance and can have the chance to live a healthy and productive life. And so EFINA, over the last 17 years, has been a part of the journey for Nigeria. And we've seen tremendous success. The Global Findex showed that we went from 50% to 75% inclusion globally. And in about that same period, Nigeria more than doubled its inclusion rate. And so it's exciting to know that all of you in this room and the EFINA organization has been a part of that. So having said that, there's still a lot to do. And we know that in order for Nigeria to bring economic prosperity to everyone, that you all want, that everyone needs to be formally included in financial services. And so a couple of things that I would encourage everyone in the room, and especially EFINA as it embarks on this next chapter to think about is one, continue to build the infrastructure that's needed. That includes the work that you're already doing on digital ID. It includes the important work that NIBS plays, the function it plays in the environment, the wonderful work that SANEF did to build out the agent network and continue to build it out, because there's still many people who aren't included. The second thing, and actually the last one, right. The second thing is really, so not just the infrastructure, but expand access. And this is particularly important for women and for the northern states of Nigeria. They need to be included for all to be able to benefit. And I don't know if you've seen the report that shows the state-by-state data of the access to finance, but first of all, it's an amazing report. It's super interesting. So congratulations to the EFINA team for that. But it'll show you how different states have improved from 2020 to 2023. And a good example is that in that time, it was Kaduna State doubled its inclusion rate in 3 years. It's amazing. And the kind of detail that you see in that report can help policymakers and private sector know where the opportunity is, and the fact that it can be achieved if they're looking for it and they target their effort. So expand access. I think the next step is really deepening access so that financial services are useful, not just for the account, but useful for economic growth and improving lives. And then finally, really supporting the central bank and others that are protecting consumers. But financial services is a new world, and for many people, it's harder to understand, much harder to understand than cash. And so they need to be protected from fraud, from scams, from lack of literacy, to help them take advantage of this happen. So anyway, we are all in Nigeria. We are all in. Well, we see the Gates Foundation, in order to achieve the goals that Nigeria has for health, for agriculture, for education, for economic growth, we have to be all in financial inclusion. And so we look forward to taking this next journey, this new brand, new next steps with EFINA. And we invite all of you to be a part of that. Thank you.
Distinguished guests. Up next is a woman who has over 2 decades of relevant experience across different fields in strategic planning, execution, and operations under her belt. Please let's welcome the CEO, EFINA, Ms. Foinsola Akinjaeju.
We are gathered here today, not just to reflect on our achievements, but to look forward to the future we're shaping together. As we celebrate this remarkable progress Nigeria has made in expanding access to financial services, we are reminded of the tireless efforts, the partnerships, and the innovations that have driven the success. Our latest Access to Financial Services in Nigeria A2F survey shows a clear and steady trajectory. 64% of Nigerians now have access to formal financial services, which is bringing us closer to our national target. This achievement would not have been possible without the commitment and expertise of the people in this room. EFINA has always been proud of the role that we play in the financial ecosystem. We are known for our data-driven approach, such that we provide insights that not only our own interventions, but also broader efforts to build an inclusive financial ecosystem. The A12 data provides a window into the way Nigerians use financial services. It identifies populations that are excluded at national, regional, and more recently, individual state levels. In fact, Jason, you spoke to that. The insights from the A12 have informed public sector interventions and policy actions for the improvement of lives in Nigeria, and has been instrumental in the design of relevant and viable products that we have seen over the years. The benefits of the A12 for socio-economic development cannot be overemphasized, and we are fully committed to enhancing it over the coming years. However, our impact goes beyond data. Our team has been integral to the development process and the evolution of the Nigeria's financial inclusion strategy. We've also provided technical support to policymakers, regulators, and even product developers in their design of the products and services that millions of Nigerians use today. Through our funding programs with support from our donor partners, we have empowered 4.7 million Nigerians to become financially included, with roughly 2 million of these people being women. I thought you were going to put your hands together for that. Thank you so much. In addition, 35,000 financial services agents were engaged through EFINA-funded projects, with about 25% of these being women as well. These achievements are worth celebrating, and we all should take pride in it. However, the road ahead is long, and our journey is far from over. Millions of Nigerians are still financially excluded, and many who have access to financial services do not use them actively. Because it is the most marginalized and the hardest to reach citizens that remain excluded, we must become more innovative and even more committed if we are to serve them and hit our national financial inclusion goal. For every 1% in financial inclusion, this means more than 1 Nigerians will benefit from the financial services that could improve their lives. Our efforts to bridge the financial inclusion gaps must, however, not focus on just providing access. It must promote usage of a broad range of financial services that ensures that access leads to economic empowerment. For the most marginalized, the journey is not complete when they open a bank account. We must work together to ensure these individuals engage services like savings, credit, insurance, and pensions that will provide them with financial resilience. Without this, access alone will not deliver the transformative impact that we seek. So it is this mind shift that underpins our new vision and our new mission, one that goes beyond financial inclusion. Today, we are unveiling not only a name or a brand, but a refreshed strategy, the one that drives us towards a greater goal of empowering individuals, families, and communities to be more resilient and to thrive. Our strategy therefore centers around economic empowerment, which we believe is the ultimate driver of social and economic progress for Nigeria. We are committed to expanding access for financial services, but we also aim to unlock new opportunities for economic resilience across our great country. But we do not shy away from the scale of the challenge, and we are clear-eyed about the work that is required, and committed to ensuring that every Nigerian who gains access to financial services is empowered to leverage it for real and lasting change. So as part of our strategic refresh, we are engaging and integrating 2 critical initiatives. One is the Gender Center of Excellence, known as GCE. This initiative reflects our firm commitment to addressing the gender gap in financial inclusion. While we've made progress, significant barriers remain for women. The GCE would help us take a more targeted approach to closing this gap, such that no woman is left behind the journey to financial empowerment. And the second is the Inclusion for All initiative. This initiative focuses on the marginalized and underserved communities. those who are often overlooked in policy and product development. By amplifying their voices, we will ensure that financial inclusion is truly inclusive. So our new 5-year strategy is not just a roadmap, it is a call to action. It is aligned with the National Financial Inclusion Strategy and designed to deliver measurable progress towards financial resilience and economic empowerment. But we know that we cannot achieve these goals alone. We need you. We need your expertise, your insights, your partnerships. We need your support because all these are crucial for our collective success as we embark on this new phase of our journey for greater impact. So as we move into the implementation phase of the strategy, we'll be looking to deepen our collaboration with each of you. Together, we will build a Nigeria where no one is financially excluded. None is left behind. Where every citizen has the opportunity to achieve financial empowerment and in turn contribute to the economic and social development of this great nation. So thank you once again for being here and for your continued support. We look forward to going on this transformation journey together with you. Thank you so much.
We'll now be going to the fireside chat with His Royal Highness Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi II, CON, PhD. I don't know what order is supposed to be. Maybe His Royal Highness so Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi, the Emir of Kano. I'd like to stand on the very well-established protocol by our CEO. Because of time constraints, we just have 15 minutes for this conversation and would like to glean as much as we can from His Royal Highness. I'd like to start by appreciating His Royal Highness for taking the time to be with us today. He's a man who needs no introduction. A distinguished Nigerian economist, banker, and former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, who spearheaded major banking reforms during the global financial crisis. He's a prolific writer and speaker, and he's known for his contributions to banking, politics, and society. Delving right in, a lot has been said about the financial inclusion landscape tonight, from EFINA itself, from our donors, from our government partners, and His Royal Highness is no stranger to the role that EFINA has played since 2007 in promoting, facilitating, and improving economic opportunities and outcomes for Nigerians, especially since he's one of the founding members and still is a member of EFINA. I would just like to go straight in. Your Royal Highness, as someone who has been on this journey alongside EFINA right from the very beginning, how would you describe Nigeria's journey to financial inclusion, especially with regards to its impact on everyday people, bearing in mind and assessing the crucial role that financial sector deepening organizations like EFINA play in facilitating those outcomes?
Thank you very much, Saudi. And before I answer, I'd like to make two remarks. First of all, an apology for coming late. I am sure it's been explained to you. I was ready by 5:30, and my chief of staff told me he had been told I should wait until called. And naturally, when you're called, it takes time to get ready and come back. Second thing is, if I'm nervous, it's not because there's an AMA here, but because Aruma Oche and Modupe Ladipo are there, and they're looking at me, and they're two troublesome women. So. So if my voice shakes, it's because of those two women. Amadupe was our first EFINA CEO, and I think we should. I was on our publisher board, and we shouldn't forget the role of our first chairman Dotun and our first CEO Modupe in setting up EFINA as a foundation. You know, I would like to speak broadly about the questions of demand and supply. And I think it's important to understand things from that perspective when you deal with financial inclusion. Very often in analysis, we do not make that, we don't pay that much attention to nuances. And it's not just financial inclusion. So, for example, when I became a mayor in Kano, I had this impression that the people I had in Kano did not want to educate their daughters. They did not want to leave their children in school. And this was the typical Lagos, King's College, University elite sense. And then I started going around to villages and seeing people. And I found that they're not there. So you keep blaming the picture. So, it's not that people do have a space where I teach. And it's same almost for issue. Digital care, where we have care centers, the doctors. Now, inclusion. And I think what changed of a century was when it took out the supply of funds. And if was part of that, this central bank remains key because at the end of the day, the regulators are critical about the supply. The of difficulty and the challenges, the thought process I had to go through, rejigging the entire financial infrastructure. NIPS today is what it is because we went to Portugal, we went to SIPS, and we invited SIPS to come and work with NIPS and transform it. To do that work, Accenture took us to Brazil. We had to look at other countries and their image systems and so on. At every stage, there were challenges. I remember a simple thing like BVN. This BVN card. When we started and said we wanted unique ID for every Nigerian, across the entire financial system. This country was the first country to do that. Because it came out at the Bankers Committee meeting and I said, look, the entire 24 banks in Nigeria are not as big as HSBC. So if HSBC has one unique ID, why can't we have everybody on one unique ID? And the strange thing was when we invited consultants for this, the question was, no, nobody has done this before. And so nobody has done it before, so what? And now we've got that. Now the question is, are we exploiting the potential of the BVN? Have we really followed through with the vision? Apart from, yes, it's been useful in many areas, the software we have, for example, has a non-performing loan database. I don't know if the banks are using that. If you have a bad loan in a bank, it's just locked in there. The day you go to any other bank and just put in your thumb, it will flag you if you checked against the database. It's got a fraud database. If you commit a fraud in a microfinance bank in Maiduguri and then come to Zenith Bank in Lagos and put your finger, it should show you. One of the objectives we had was to move to biometric ATMs and POSs. So don't deal with the issue of cards, remembering PIN numbers and so on. If you send money to your grandmother in a village, all she needs is her thumb once she's registered and she can go and collect her money. So we still have ways to go. But the point I'm making is the transformation of the payment system, NIPS, the movement to shared services, the introduction of POSs and ATMs. In 2011, 2012, we had a POS density of 13 POSs for every 100,000 Nigerians. Only 13 when we started this process. At that time, Brazil had 2,260. And we said, look, by 2015, we would be where Brazil was. I don't know where we are now, but I know that within the first year, we did get about 60,000 POSs to Lagos. But it wasn't just about bringing the POSs. You had to deal with MTN, you had to deal with Airtel, you had to deal with all the telcos and make sure that they provided the right signals. We had to work with main one. You had to bring together so many people, the maintenance agents, to make sure that the POSs worked. So I'm saying that one of the reasons we had this uplift in financial inclusion was we addressed this question of supply. It wasn't just about blaming people. Now, on the demand side, there are also issues because you've got the products, you've got to educate people. And I think we've just said from Jason the importance of financial literacy and consumer protection. And this is not just about, when we say financial, it's not just about people who didn't go to school. I'll give you my own personal example. I was an executive director in a bank and I needed financial education. Nimi is here. She was then my financial advisor. She was in Stanbic. And she came and had a chat with me. Because, as you know, I have a large family and I had issues with paying school fees and all that else. And she said to me, and they came to interview me. And I said, look, do you have any assets? And I had 3 houses. I had a house I inherited from my father, which I was sitting on in Kano and all that. I said, okay, so what are you doing with that house? I mean, I had a big house in Kano that I was sitting on. And it took her to tell me, but you're sitting on money. Let's get us a CFO. Let us value the house. And then we valued the house and she secured a loan for me. And from that house, I ended up owning about 2 or 3 other houses in Kano. And every time I bought a house, I would then take the CFO and borrow again, and the point I'm making is I was sitting here, I was as a chief risk officer, approving loans, but I didn't know how to manage my own finances. And I needed somebody, to come and ask me and tell me. So financial literacy is critical. And then consumer protection, of course, which is why in the central bank, we now set up the consumer protection department, a financial literacy department as part of financial inclusion. And those two are absolutely essential. So this is, I think, for me, as far as background is concerned, I think the big picture is we need to continue looking at the supply and make sure we get it to them. And then we can also deal with the demand side.
Thank you very much, Your Highness. I think several important points have been made, and maybe a more subtle point here would be the political will for people who are in positions to effect change, to actually do what they're supposed to do and follow through, in ways that we can see impact on everyday people. So I'll just go straight to talking about your leadership in advancing for financial system reforms in Nigeria. How do you see the role of credible data and evidence-based insights in shaping policies and innovations that drive financial inclusion and economic empowerment, particularly for underserved communities?
You really can't manage what you don't measure. And this is true of financial inclusion. It's true of everything. And I find that in life, in every position I have been where I've had to take to make policy and to implement policy, my focus has been on data. And I always say when you talk about finance, you need to talk about other things. So people don't think finance is this esoteric, unique thing. It is the same logic that follows. I'll give you, the Gates Foundation is involved in nutrition. Okay, so I was talking to the Gates Foundation just yesterday on nutrition. Now, we get data every year on the number of malnourished children in Nigeria. Okay, I sit down as Amen. I see that Kano has 10% of the malnourished children in Nigeria. Okay, but what do? Every year, we get these data, wait for the children to be malnourished, and then we count them. Okay, and then we get these horrible data and we all sad at. And I'm like, okay, where were we when this woman got pregnant? We didn't know. Okay, and where I am today is working with groups to see how do I have software where I can sit in the palace, click a button and know all the pregnant women in my emirate. This is the number. These are the districts they're in. These are the villages and these are the wards. So he can call a ward head and tell him, you've got 5 pregnant women. He loads the number. You've got 5 pregnant women in your ward. I want you to make sure they get this step for nutrition. How do I know all the babies that are born in my emirate? Where are they? How do I know, using work, those that are heading towards malnutrition before they become malnourished? If you don't have the data, these children come into contact with the government at the age of 6 when they come to primary school, by which time they're already malnourished. Because we were not there when the woman got pregnant. We were not there when the baby was born. And we all say that the first 1,000 days are the most important, but nobody has asked, where are we in the first 1,000 days? Okay, so you've got this school feeding program. It's too late. So and the point I make is it's not just finance. If you have data, you can deal with issues. So it's a mindset. It's a whole intellectual attitude towards science to know that if you don't know, if you don't measure, you cannot properly manage. And I think what we've done with EFINA, for example, is EFINA has given us data on financial inclusion, but not just that, we now know by age group, we know by geographical area, we know by gender. You then begin to address what kind of, whether is it a technology issue? Is it a product issue? Is it a cultural issue? How do you begin to address? And you begin to design different products for different segments because, again, we'll go back to supply. Okay, but if you don't know the population, how do you design what you supply? So it's so critical, I think, that we have that information, and without that, we can't go anywhere.
Thank you so much, Your Royal Highness. I know there are many tech gurus in the room, and this is your opportunity. There's a problem that has been put forward, and I also see an opportunity where you can come in with your expertise to solve a problem. I know we can sit all night and speak with His Royal Highness, but I think we'll just wrap it up because our 15 minutes is spent and we're just still talking about data.
They're complaining.
They're not. I can assure you some people came here specifically for this. EFINA, just like you said, has churned out so much data, provided deep insights into the Nigerian market system. The A2F is beyond the broad high-level data that we have. There are indicators that point to livelihoods, incomes, understanding consumer behavior. And this information is useful to both those in the public and private sectors. But a major challenge remains for EFINA, and that's the issue of sustainability and funding. Would like to tap into your expertise in terms of how would you advise EFINA, the EFINA of the future, the rebranded EFINA, to go about sustainability in the chapter?
Yes, I think that the best guarantee for sustainability is success. I mean, if you really do what you're supposed to achieve it, and you show how useful it is, I think there's a very strong likelihood that you're going to get support. But also, I mean, first of all, let me say I'm very happy that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation came in to save this. I think it's a fantastic development. I think this new focus on economic inclusion basically opens up the scope for donors to come in because it shows that you're not focused on a narrow area. At the end of the day, we must remember finance is for intermediation. If at the end of the day it's about welfare, if you open a bank account and you've got no money to put in there, it's just an account. You've got to build around it an economy. We've talked about women, for example. You get women to open accounts, but they need to get involved in economic activity. And there are a number of things we can do. A number of thinking out of the box that would be attractive to people's interest in development. I'll give you one small example. I was, some years ago, I was chairman of Babangona, which is really a small, growing social investment fund. And one of the things we discovered was among our customer base, we didn't have female customers in the Northeast and Northwest. Female customers tended to be in the South and the Middle Belt. And why was that? It's not because women did not own the land, but in general, in places like Kado, a woman's father or husband dies, inherits the land. It's her husband or her brother who. Okay, so it's not far. And I started saying, you know what? Let us start asking who owns the land. So because what happens is the husband or the takes, and he is a customer. He takes the money from it. He makes all the money and she gets nothing. Or maybe she gets what he gives her. Meanwhile, she is the owner of the capital. We had to proceed and let us see if a woman owns the farm, she is our customer. She's the one borrowing from us. If her husband wants to work on the farm, she is in labor, that's fine, or she can get somebody else to till her farm. These were women sitting on wealth, but the men were basically taking the capital, away from them. So thinking out of the box and trying to understand how do you unlock these opportunities for easy people? How do you teach them basic skills and turn them into useful purpose society, and providing the finance attracts in itself a self-sustaining, because there is always goodwill, there's always philanthropy, there's always development money coming in, but people want to see that money actually be useful and impact on life. So for me, the greatest guarantee for sustainability is for us to make sure that day in, day out, we are being there. You need to show how what you're doing is not just producing esoteric, intellectual, academic data for it to transform the. In Babongona, I said we're talking about 2 metric tons per hectare moving to 5 metric tons per hectare. Good statistics, but I want us to ask, wow, to the how many farmers are now able to educate their children as a result of this improved yields? That's when we begin to count human beings. I showed the number of girls who went to school longer because their fathers are now moving from subsistence to profitable farming. People are interested. And when you go to when you go looking for we've achieved. These are the number of farmers that we've lifted up. Keep up women. Of course, so far because of that. These are the number of boys who have remained in school. These are the number of this is how we've affected maternal mortality, infant mortality, because of improvements in the lives of these farmers. It's a story that is very different from saying we've moved yields from 2 to 5 metric tons per hectare. It's about what I would say is how where we're really looking at the human beings behind those numbers. And if you can actually show that, then you've got your way to sustainability.
Yes, so much, Eric. And CEO, you have it here. He's told you you've gotten your free consultancy right now to know what to do as we enter this new chapter. At this point, would like to end the conversation here, and I'd like to thank you for hearing us, people. Insights and your call to action have been invaluable, and I'm sure one person or two have. Thank you very much.
I'm very excited to introduce this next segment of the event to you, which really is the unveiling of the EFINA brand. But before I do that, I like to tell stories. And here's a short story that introduces what's going to show us our screen. So like I like to do very often on my WhatsApp stories, I put up stuff about the work that I do. And so my neighbor must have noticed all these posts about says what I must have said something that gave me the opportunity to actually call the name of the brand EFINA. And then she sent a message to me. So she called me and said, "Oh my goodness, all this while I thought your organization was EFINA." I say, wow, It's so amazing that you're so used to something you don't even understand that people can see it differently. And so in Unveils, they said, which also shows the work that we have to do, because a lot of people call it different things. I've been to events where they introduce as EFINA, so people say it's EFINA. So I thought, you know what, let's go into the streets of Lagos. Let's hear what residents of Lagos call EFINA. So what you're about to watch is what people call the acronym EFINA. Thank you.
Joe? Yes, it's right now.
EFINA. Zeros.
Okay, EFINA. I don't know.
EFINA.
Intro?
EFINA. EFINA. Are you sure?
EFINA. Yeah, EFINA. Or the way on your best try, that's good.
EFINA.
Or the way on your best try, it'll be EFINA. Or the way on your best try.
Sound as the name of peace, right?
Wait, an acronym. It's an acronym. What do you think it stands for?
So that's in Lego built up as it.
Every great journey begins with profession. To uplift, to empower, and to transcend. For over a decade, EFINA has been a driving force for financial services by bridging the gap between the underserved and the financial services they need to thrive. Established in 2007 with support for UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, EFINA began receiving funding support from the Gates Foundation in 2009. Did you know that in 2008, only 24% of Nigerians had access to formal financial services? But today, 64% of Nigerians now have access, and EFINA is at the heart of this transformational journey. Our aim is to facilitate a market where diverse, affordable, and secure digital financial services drive economic growth and improve livelihoods. With a refreshed vision and mission, we are taking an even bolder step by improving our consumer protection and strengthening our policies, and also amplifying your voices and experiences by creating lasting inclusion. Today, we have made remarkable progress by impacting over 4 million individuals financially through EFINA-funded initiatives. And as the world evolves, so must we. The needs of Nigerians are changing, but our commitment remains enhanced. So, tonight, as we step into a new era, we invite you, our partners, stakeholders, and fellow advocates to join us as we welcome the future. Yes, a new Nigeria where financial inclusion is not just a vision, but also a reality for all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Butni EFINA. Welcome to EFINA.
You won't know how important financial inclusion is until you want to pay for something small and the transaction is terminated just because the person says, I'll not get back. I'll not get cut. And then as much as you need it, you can have it. Not because you don't have the money, but because the recipient of the transaction fee is not available yet available. And so I heartily, as an individual, want to say congratulations, EFINA, and by extension, congratulations, Nigeria. This is a step in the right direction, and in no time, I'm sure that we will celebrate again. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite to the microphone Abagna from Matsusanda. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for no other person but Onyeguchi Ajufo. Can we have a round of applause for this? Ladies, as soon as she is, thank you so much.
When your check is in the mail, I don't know whether it is fair that I go after that very, very magnificent display, but I'm here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Onyeguchi Ajufo. Good evening, Your Highness. Good evening, representatives from government. Permit me to stand on existing protocols. A few months ago, we started a conversation with EFINA about how we could support them on the Rebrand. It is this new brand that you have just seen. I'm here to walk you through how we got to where we are today. But let me first tell you a little bit about myself. When I was 15, my parents shipped me out to the UK to do my GCSEs and A-levels. And the day before I left, my father sat me down, he looked me in the eye and he said, if you don't know who you are, people will line up to tell you. But that's only half the story. Because knowing who you are gives you confidence. But it really doesn't stop people from telling you who you are or what they want from you. What it does do, however, is it gives you clarity of purpose, clarity of mission, and on which voices to listen to on your journey. Knowing who you are and be clear on your mission also makes it easier for you to find your tribe. Imagine this if you were. EFINA is a driver in the bus park in Jibo, and for anyone who is not familiar with Lagos, Jibo is one of the most popular bus parks that we have. You go to Jibo, you can get a bus to anywhere in London. There is a signpost on top of our bus, it says Abuja. We have a conductor, and if you've seen Lagos conductors, you know they're loud and they're clear. And he's shouting, Abuja, Abuja, Abuja. What do you think happens? Only people that are going to Abuja are going to board that bus. That is why we are here today.
to yell very loudly about EFINA's mission and to invite you to board our bus. And if you're already on our bus, to implore you to stay with us as we strive to get to our destination.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite for vote of thanks and closing remarks a board director of EFINA. Please, let's hear from Mr. Olu Akom.
Appreciate the EFINA management who has put together the apps and Emir of Kano post advocacy for common good to continue to inspire what we do at EFINA as founding members, as a founding member. The members of EFINA seated, because of time, I can't go through all the details. Representing a vice president, a governor central bank director, in his own capacity, is here in capacity as representative the governor central bank and as director of clinics. A whole lot of the policies that have driven financial inclusion and innovation in Nigeria has come from Payment Service Management Department that's used to. Besides the directors, our partners and collaborators, NIFS, NIFC. I see my ex-FITEC colleagues, Max, several people are present here. Thank you for coming. EFINA wants me to tell you that we have the report card. It's been described in many ways, but I contact on next report card. Every 3 years, EFINA publishes the biannual access to finance research data. It summarizes how we have done collecting as a debut system, what we have done and what is left. EFINA is going to do another one this year by quarter 3 or quarter 4. It's very important that we score well collecting together. To score well together is important that we collaborate. The common theme that we've seen in all the speeches today from the MR, from CBN, from everybody from JSIP, it's about strategic partnership, bringing our assets together to achieve a big goal. EFINA management will be visiting you one by one to extract stronger collaboration and partnership with everybody who's present here. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the collective great purpose that binds us together, for which we're here today, we need to build a Nigeria that works for many more people. A Nigeria where no one is left behind, no matter who they are and where they are, through an inclusive financial system. On behalf of that greater purpose that connects us, we say thank you for coming. Let us go out there, collaborate, and build a financial system that leads to you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming.